Welcome to a late night edition of the Doc Talk podcast, and I'm Travis Justice. He's Dr. Rob Zatechka. The game just wrapped up in Kansas City as Nebraska escapes. I think it's safe to say escapes Cincinnati 20-17. Dr. Rob.
They did. I mean, they made the plays when they needed to. I mean, we talked last week about like the Farmageddon game over in Ireland, where we made the point that if you're Iowa State, you're coming out of that game, you're happy. You got that win. It's that first game. You're a different location. You're somewhere else. Things are a little bit out of sync. You haven't got that timing down yet. That's pretty impressive given that those circumstances to get a win period. Cincinnati, I was worried about them. I thought they had some good players on both sides of the ball. I thought they would have a much, much better passing game. They've got a really solid run game. Sorsby's the real deal coming out of the backfield as a runner. It's easy to see how he was second on the team last year as second leading rusher for Cincy last year. So the thing I'm worried about when you talk about an escape is the whole idea that Nebraska's defense looked soft up front. That Cincinnati could move the ball on the ground against them.
And let's look at those yards right now. You had Cincinnati 271 total yards, 202 on the ground. Sorsby, he was 13 of 25 passing, but just 69 yards, but his legs were killing him. But Nebraska gives up 202 yards on the ground.
Which, I mean, Nebraska looked really good against the run last year, especially early in the season. I was hoping to see that in this game. I mean, you look around and you're like, well, who do we blame this on? And I'm talking about just that performance in the run game. And it's just, you don't have Ty Robinson. You don't have Nash Hutmacher up front. We're going to need to find some guys who can get in there and drop anchor. Because here's the other thing too. This is Cincinnati's built like a pretty classic Big 12 team. This is not a kind of what you're going to expect to see in the Big Ten.
Well, I would agree with you on that.
I'm a little bit worried when you're looking at, pretty much anybody in the Big Ten in terms of being able to come in and move the ball on Nebraska on the ground. And we're going to face teams that have far, far better passing games than Cincinnati did. And if those teams come in and we can't stop their run game like the trouble we had against Cincinnati tonight, those are teams that are going to chew us up because they're going to move the ball on the ground. It's going to open up that passing game. They're going to do damage on both ends, and that's something that right now, again, it's one game.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do. You're not going to be super sharp. You're going to be like Missouri, who put up a gazillion points, but they didn't play the same caliber team as Cincinnati. I fall into that with you. I just look at it and go, okay, when that last drive for Cincinnati, last year Nebraska maybe loses that game. The year before they lose that game. Under the Scott Frost regime, they lose that game because they couldn't win close games. And then you see the defensive holding penalty and the conversion on fourth down. You're like, oh, here you go again. Then he makes the pick in the end zone. And you're like, wow, they closed one out. That's a confidence builder that you can pull a close game out.
It is. Now, the thing that kind of bugs me about this, you know what this game felt like to me was the Iowa game from last year.
Ooh, that's close. You're right.
Well, and the reason I say that is I was looking at the stats at halftime. I was looking at the stats at the end of the third quarter and going down these first downs, Nebraska 23, Cincy 16, total yards 353 to 271. Cincy, obviously, that was almost entirely on the ground. Third downs, Nebraska was 10 of 18. That's solid. Cincy was 3 of 10. That's solid on Nebraska's defense. The turnovers were huge. There was 2 turnovers. Both turnovers came one each at the end of each of the halves. Those killed scores for Cincinnati, and so that was big right there. Time of possession. This was basically a 40-minute to 20-minute advantage in time of possession. So when you look at that, those are stats that say this should have been a much bigger win for Nebraska. That's a 2-3 score win at least. and we're barely sneaking this out with a clutch interception at the end of the game. And that's the thing I worry about, is because you go back and you look at that Iowa game. Nebraska did the exact same thing against Iowa. Had a 2-to-1 time of possession advantage, had all of the yardage. It was 2 turnovers against Nebraska and 1 big play on offense for Iowa that won that game. And so Cincinnati was 1 play away from winning this.
One play away.
When you look at these stats.
So hold that thought real quick, because we are doing live call-ins tonight at 402-543-5556. And he usually drinks beer, but tonight he was going to drink Mountain Dew or Celsius. Let's go out to Pennsylvania. That's where Jason is. Jason, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast. What's going on, man?
Not too much. All I know is my alarm for work is going off in 4 hours.
So is mine.
Dude, you're an hour ahead
radio
of
show
us.
I got to do. I got to prep for a radio show yet.
So I was more curious what Rob thought was worse, the run defense or the rotating revolving door at left tackle the whole game.
Okay, on the run defense, honestly, I think the run defense, the revolving door thing at tackle, they gotta nail that down. And right now, I still think it's Gatula. He gave up some pressure on some passes. Corcoran, I thought boy, man, I've been tough on him. He looked way better than I thought he was. Now, I'm not saying that's a huge compliment. Pritchett in like one-on-one situations, I thought, quite frankly, the guy's a huge body. He's a very good athlete. I thought in terms of one-on-one performance, but the very thing, the very thing that's kept him out of the starting lineup, according to Rule, has been mental mistakes. And you saw some of those in this game. You saw the jumping off sides down on the goal line. So it's kind of one of those, I'm not sure what to make of this. I mean, going into the season, I really thought it was going to be Pritchett and Gatula as the starting tackles. And right now you're looking back over at Teddy over there at the right side, who I thought did a really solid job. I thought he looked good. I thought he moved better than I thought he was going to be able to after those knee surgeries that he's had. He was getting low. I saw maybe one play where he kind of got bull rushed a little bit, but for the most part, he was getting his hands on guys, good technique, and then stopping dudes. And so I was impressed by him. I still think Gatula is the best option at left tackle. I think they need to put those guys, get a starting lineup, put them in and leave them in. I feel bad saying that because you've got a huge dollar amount of NIL money spent on Pritchett, but I'm just not sure he's there yet, and I'm not sure he's the guy. So, but that being said, I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be, and when I saw him rotating every series, it didn't work out as bad as I would think that would if somebody had told me that was going to be the plan. So I still think the biggest issue in this game is how soft Nebraska's defense was, especially against the run.
Anything else, Jason?
I appreciate it. That's it. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoy the beer. So
go to bed, buddy. Hey, it's good hearing
from you. Rob's keeping it from me because he knows I'm not going to drink it. He knows I'm not going to drink it.
I tried to leave an entire box with you, and you told me I got to hold it, which I might have sampled like 1 or 3 of them, maybe.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, man.
No, thank you.
Man, yeah, I mean, we went to Connor Orr and the Orr Law Group's Husker tailgate party tonight, which they had a really good food. I mean, really, really good food. I got to go get the card because we had a guy from Holdridge serving meat. If I don't find the card, I'll mention it on the podcast we record on Sunday, but really good meat from Holdridge, which was yummy.
We'll get the info from Connor. It was great. Those brats were amazing.
402-543-5556. Let's go to Chattanooga. And this is Pete. What's going on, Pete?
Hey, fellas. How you doing?
Very good.
I had a quick question. Late in the game, when Cincinnati was 4th and 2, down at the very end of the game,
yep,
and Nebraska calls timeout, and the first thought that goes to my mind is, don't do that. I mean, there's pressure on them, And unless we saw something that was glaringly a problem, I just thought it was a mistake with the timeout. What was your read on that?
I actually thought Nebraska's defense was out of position. They had a guy. I got to go back and look at that play. If it's the one I'm thinking of, they had a guy who was splitting out to the right, and Nebraska didn't have anybody on him. And I think that was one of those. I think there was a little bit of confusion there, and I thought the coaches saw it, the players didn't. And I think that's why they called the timeout. If it's the play I'm thinking of, there was a guy uncovered that it wouldn't have necessarily been a score, but it definitely would have been a first down. Now they ended up converting anyway, but yeah, definitely.
They did.
And those are situations where it's always a gamble, because you want to keep that offense moving. You want to force them to not have the benefit of kind of getting themselves set in the starting blocks for that big play, and you give that to them. On the flip side, I think it's one of those, all right, we're going to give you the first down, but we don't want to give you this huge play that's going to put you directly into immediate scoring position. So I think there's a little bit of a trade-off there.
Well, very good. That's why I called and asked.
Yeah, but I totally get it. It's one of those things in those situations. You always want to keep that pressure on the offense, that time pressure on the offense. And it's a trade-off for giving up a big play, though.
All right, Pete. Thanks, man. Yeah. Thanks for calling from Chattanooga. We appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you. 402-543-5556. We got calls lining up, Rob, so get ready to answer questions. If you're in the queue, now, just to let you know, we don't have a call screener tonight. Owen had to go to bed, so he couldn't call. I know. So it's an AI call screener, so you're going to be asked to give your name and stuff like that. Let's go to, I don't even know who this is. Welcome to the Doc Talk podcast. Who's this?
Colin Kemp.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, sorry, I got to be up in a couple hours for work.
So do I, man.
There's just been a lot of off-season hype around the offense. I was just wondering what you guys are seeing in the offense. Are you believers in that, in the transfer portal, like Key and Raiola? And I just what do you guys think about the offense?
I like Hunter. I thought Dane. I mean, I thought some of those guys like Dane Key. I mean, you had some of those guys who were making some really big plays. I mean, and overall, if you look at their offense productivity, I mean, the numbers are there. The thing I worry about, and I was telling this to Travis before he came on the air, it's like the Iowa game last year. The thing that worries me is the inability to finish drives and put the ball into the end zone. Nebraska should have had, I mean, in my opinion, 2 more touchdowns in this game. That would have been, instead of field goals, that would have been 8 more points. And that essentially gives you a 2-score lead. I mean,
Rob, let me ask you something.
I mean, it'd be an 11 at that point. It's an 11-point lead. That's a 2-score game right there, and you're really forcing Cincinnati into a high-pressure situation. Since he doesn't come close to winning that, if Nebraska converts and gets those touchdowns instead of field goals, that's a problem, and it's a problem we saw last year as well, too. So there's some things I liked that I saw on the offensive line for the most part. We'll see how that pans out over these next couple of weeks, because it's going to be polish weeks these next couple of weeks with Akron and Houston Christian. This was a little bit of a test. I do not think Cincy's a bad team, but Nebraska should have put this game away, and they don't have that ability yet.
All right. Thanks for the phone call, man. I appreciate it. 402-543-5556. Let's go to Las Vegas. That's where Steve is. Steve, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, appreciate you guys a lot. I just want to say a couple things. You got to be happy with, other than a penalty when the whole kick went out of bounds on the kickoff, the special teams were special. 52-yard field goal, no field goal. The punter dropped a couple inside one was inside the 10.
He's a weapon.
Another one inside the 20. I mean, you got to give it to the special teams and Mike Eckler. I mean, what without that, we would have lost the game.
Yeah, that
so I
was
was really happy with
definitely,
the
we got
special
some
teams were
weapons
great.
there.
Number 2, no turnovers. That's huge. So we fixed 2 things: no turnovers, special teams. Penalties, though, are still a problem. The false start on the 1-yard line killed us. And the main concern I have is, and I want Rob's opinion on this, I'm really worried that we're not stout enough on to stop the run, and the Big Ten is going to kill us running the football. So
I think
we can make some adjustments on defense, or what do you think?
I'm trying to figure it out, because we need some guys in there on the front on defense, and I don't know if we have them. I think they're going to have to take a long look at that roster and figure out how they're going to do this, or do we try and make some adjustments and maybe move towards a little bit of a more traditional 4-3 type of front. I think that's maybe an option as well. And I think Butler's a pretty smart guy. I mean, he's been around the block more than once, and I don't think he's a hardcore 3-3-5 or 3-4 kind of guy. I don't know if he's really not a true 4-3 guy either. On the flip side, they use that 3-3-5 look that they've used the last few years, and they've been able to kind of move guys into a 4-3 type look. And so I think that might be one option. The other one is just maybe looking at some younger guys who didn't get as much playing time tonight, and see if you've got some guys who can basically just take up some space in the middle and not get pushed back. The special teams comment, that was huge, Travis. I mean, we really haven't talked about that a ton, but the field goals were big. He picked up a career long for himself today with that 52-yarder. That was a great field goal. I mean, that was great for Nebraska. Kept Cincinnati from running away with momentum in the first half. Here's the other thing I liked on special teams.
Just to let you know, we got a lot of phone calls.
Okay, I know, but you didn't see a ton of fair catches.
That's true.
Love that.
402-543-5556. I think we're going to talk more kicking game. This is Jerry. Jerry, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast. What's going on?
Pretty much your callers got. I was going to talk about the kicking game since they already discussed that. Hello, Rob. How you doing?
Jerry, how you doing, buddy?
Tonight, will you?
Oh, heck yeah.
Anyway, end game management at the end of the game. Watching the clock and everything, and also some of those plays they called on offense just drove me nuts. Again, Rob said it. They got it. They're not putting the game away. There you go.
Yeah,
right.
and it's
Thanks,
I saw some good stuff with the game management. I saw some stuff I'm not sure I liked a whole heck of a lot. It was probably some of the better time management I've seen over the last 10 years from Nebraska. The thing that I think really kind of hamstrung Nebraska at the end there when it came to a time management standpoint was the fact that Cincinnati had their timeouts and the 2-minute warning there right at the end of the game, and that they use those really, really well. I really like Satterfield. I think he's a good coach, and he managed the end of that.
He's on the hot seat, though, dude.
Yeah, I get that. I still think he's a good coach.
402-543-5556. Let's go down to Atlanta, Georgia. That's where Chuck is. Chuck, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast.
Hey, thanks, Travis. Season's greetings to you guys. Watching the game, just a couple thoughts. Elijah Pritchett, I've heard through fall camp, has had some issues with jumping the snap count a little bit.
Yep.
I was looking at that situation and wondering, with him having that history in fall camp, why did they have him in there in that situation?
Well,
and take that chance.
I think they're really trying to take because in terms of his blocking ability, it's there. He really is a good athlete, a good blocker. But again, you're getting into this situation where you've got a, I don't know, again, 6th or 7th year guy in Corcoran who's kind of been highly maligned for a lot of his career. and I'm not sure is the best option in there. You've got a redshirt sophomore, young guy still learning, but I think he might be the most stable tackle in the bunch. And then you got Pritchett, who's probably the best athlete of the group, and when he's not making mental mistakes, excuse me, when he's not making mental mistakes, is probably the best tackle in that group of three. It's just, again, those mental mistakes are killer. You got to give them a chance at some point to see what they can do. And that situation was tough because it cost Nebraska a touchdown.
What do you think about his pass protection, Rob?
Pritchett's? For the most part, it was okay. There was a couple that he gave up. The thing is, nobody was perfect in that regard on that left side. All three of those guys were giving up some pressure. Excuse me.
Stop smoking cigarettes, Rob. They're bad for
you. I gotta get off it, man. It's killing me. But no, all three of those guys were giving up pressure on various plays. I thought all three did okay. I'm probably more impressed by the fact, looking over at the right side at Prohaska, I'm happy that at least we got him over there. If he can stay healthy, he can lock that side of the ball down, and hopefully the other guys step up. I still think if I'm the coaching staff, I'm sticking with Gatula as a starter instead of rotating these guys literally every series. Gatula's playing 2 or 3 series, then Corcoran, then Pritchett. Gatula 2 or 3 series, then Corcoran, then Pritchett. I'm giving the bulk of the snaps to him because right now I think he's the safest bet. And I'm not saying he's the best left tackle. I'm not saying he's a great left tackle, but I think he's the most stable guy we've got for that position right now.
All right, Chuck. Thanks for the phone call, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
402-543-5556. Let's go up to Wisconsin, where the Badgers, by the way, got a win over Miami of Ohio tonight, 17-0. And this is where Ron is. Ron, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast.
Hey, thanks, Travis. I know you guys were talking about D-line concerns earlier, but first I just wanted to say thank you to Rob for, I guess he stood up for you, Travis, when my twin brother and I met Rob at a pipeline event. So I'll cut you some slack for being from Iowa. But is pink the closest you can get to wearing red? That's my first question.
If Rob will answer this, the answer is yes. This is about as close as it's going to get.
Makes me want to vomit. But, not gonna lie.
No, you know what? That's not true, Ron. Because I've got the 4th and 1 is why God created fullback shirt. I've got a couple of our Doc Talk shirts. So I've got a couple red shirts. So I've got a couple.
Okay, you're okay in my book, then, Travis.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, you guys were talking about defensive line concerns earlier. I didn't want to repeat the question or anything, but who stood out to you on the defensive line? They just didn't seem to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback tonight. So that's my question.
When they brought the blitzes, I mean, I thought Javen Wright got in there. I want to see him hone in and get the hit on the quarterback. But I mean, obviously, he's a linebacker. I thought Riley Van Poppel got some good push in there. Again, the problem is guys were getting upfield a bit. They were getting some push. They weren't getting off blocks, and that's concerning. Nash Hutmacher, he could get off blocks. Ty Robinson, he would kill dudes and get off blocks. And so it's a step down from last year, losing those two guys. It's a big step down. We don't have another guy that is that caliber stepping in right now. You lost. There's a few D linemen that Nebraska lost. I mean, was it Williams that followed the guys to Florida State? You had a couple of other guys that hit the portal. You picked up some guys. I'm not impressed. I mean,
by the way, 0 sacks for the Nebraska defense, only 2 tackles for a loss for a total of 2 yards.
Well, and now the other thing is that I'll be curious to see as the season goes along, how good is Cincinnati and how good is Sorsby from a running standpoint. He averaged 5 yards a carry last year And that was a horrible Cincinnati. I shouldn't say horrible. It was a pretty bad Cincinnati team last year, though. And so, man, that guy burned us on the ground. And so I'll be curious to see if he keeps playing like this as the season goes along. And I'll probably feel, if he does, I'll feel a little bit better about how Nebraska's defense looked. The thing that's probably maybe a little more concerning for me was some of these runs that their running backs had, because those guys would hit that seam, shoot up field, and they were getting 5, 6, 8 yards every carry. And so that's a little concerning to me as well, too, that you didn't see guys getting off blocks, getting on these guys and making immediate stops on the running back either.
All right, Ron, thanks for the phone call. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
402-543-5556. Let's go to, he didn't leave a name, but he wants to talk. He says last night, Nebraska football, maybe. Is it last night already? I guess it is. We're almost to midnight. Who is this? What's going on? Welcome to the Doc Talk podcast.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. Who is this?
Doing well.
This is Mike, man, calling from Seattle.
Oh, Seattle.
Oh, my gosh.
We have
it's still early
the country
there.
tonight. It is early. You still got plenty of time to get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah, I do, man. Just watching the game, man. I just wasn't encouraged, man. I want to be positive, man, but I'm looking at the schedule and I'm looking at what might save us is the schedule.
Yes.
The schedule is not that hard this year. I mean, you don't play Ohio State, you don't play Oregon, you don't play Washington. So, you know what I mean? You have some little bit of wiggle room, but what I saw there, man, I'm just not seeing Nebraska hard-nosed football, man. I'm seeing like the same mistakes that I've seen in the past, man.
And I'm worried as well. I mean, it's the thing. I mean, we've been talking thus far about the lack of toughness and ability to make stops up front on defense. Super concerning. The ability to stop a running quarterback, very concerning. Not having that, I don't know if killer instinct's the right word, but the ability in offense to finish off drives, putting the ball into the end zone. That's really concerning. I like the win. I guess kind of the thing that I'm kind of sitting here going like, okay, if I'm going to try and find silver linings or positives, it's kind of like what you said. You're looking at that schedule. You're hoping you see some development. You're hoping to see them polish some stuff up. Kind of lock down a little bit of continuity on that offensive line, especially that left tackle spot, and find somebody on defense who can plug that middle up a little bit, because, again, that is concerning.
I mean, look at it this way, though. I mean, Dylan Raiola goes 33 of 42, 2 touchdowns, 243 yards, didn't throw a pick, came close, but didn't throw a pick. That's a 79% completion rating. Evan Johnson goes – No, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah. I'm kind of talking to him, saying, there's something about you watched it and you went, oh, okay. And I mean, somebody yeah, go ahead.
I just think we still think we on a season on the brink. I just think we're not there yet. We close. We're close. We'll get to a bowl game, but we're not there yet. There's something about it is not.
Right.
It's just not hitting me as Nebraska football. We getting close, but we just not there yet. And,
that's the thing when Travis talks about those stats that he just mentioned, the thing that's concerning to me, again, we didn't put the ball in the end zone. We should have had the ball in the end zone at least twice more in that game, and that would have been a huge difference maker. That's concerning. We got the stats, and I'm sitting here going, okay, if the defense doesn't have that ability to make those stops, we're going to have to flat out outscore people. And we saw tonight they didn't really have that ability, at least not yet. I mean, they're still kind of in this situation where they're trying to – I mean, they're putting up tons of yardage. They're not getting the points that would be commensurate with that. How's that?
All right, Mike. Hey, thanks for calling from Seattle. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you.
402-543-5556. Let's go to Brian. Brian, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
All right. So what did you guys think of the jet sweep plays that were called tonight? None of them seemed to work.
I hate the jet sweep.
Pretty well
I hate the jet sweep. Always have.
Sometimes people run and it looks freaking amazing, and when you've got somebody who's an absolute burner, you always think he can run it. The problem is that when you're teeing it up, I mean, you've got a runner who basically has to run about 15 yards just to get to the line of scrimmage. So I'm not a fan. We kept going with it. We kept trying it. The one thing it does is it keeps defenses from trying to like plug people up in the middle and just kind of stay tight in the box. You got to spread it, spreads people out, which I understand that. We didn't have the edge blocking tonight. That was a little concerning for me. I thought on the run game, the blocking up the middle was a little bit better, but we didn't have the edge blocking in the run game, and that shows up on those jet sweeps. You got to be able to take guys out on the edge, and we didn't do that.
Now, let me talk some people off the ledge. And Brian, thanks for the phone call. We appreciate it. It is the first game. So many people expect perfection. You've got that entire stadium full. There's been all this hype buildup. Everybody, I mean, I watched Iowa State, Kansas State last week. None of those teams were perfect. Did you watch Rutgers tonight? That team struggled to get a win over Ohio. Minnesota wasn't perfect. There are those first game things. If it continues to persist, but you're not going to find out till Michigan, because the next two games are cupcakes, man. You're not going to know until you play Michigan.
Okay, and I agree with what you said right there, other than the stuff that's concerning is stuff that's kind of haunted us in the past. It's
okay, I'll give you that
ability to put the ball in the end zone, things like that. Like I said, I'm looking back towards the end of last year, and that worries me.
402-543-5556. Let's go down to the San Antonio area, I believe. Cortland, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast. What's going on, Cortland?
Not too much, Travis. Thanks for taking my call.
Not a problem.
Huge Cornhuskers fan tonight. I think we saw more of the same that we've seen over the last 10 years. We almost let this one slip, and I'm glad Hartzog was able to kind of make up for that penalty on the play before. But I put a lot of it on coaching tonight. I thought they had a couple of bad coaching calls at some points in the game that kind of let Cincinnati hang around. The jet sweep play, being one of them, and I think the one that really killed me was the fourth down when we were up 13-3. I thought they should have punted it. Cincinnati had been moving the ball on us all night, and I think that kind of let them back into the game, giving it to them at midfield. So I think the coaching needs to clean some stuff up, and I wasn't too impressed tonight with the offensive coordinator's play calling. And I think you hit it saying it's the first game, and I think the coaches kind of didn't have the whole playbook open, because, we didn't take a shot down the field tonight at all. So I'm wondering, there's a bunch of dink and dunks tonight, and, it just didn't seem like we were had the pedal down tonight, trying to put this team away.
That's a good point. You didn't have a vertical passing game tonight for the most part. It was a lot of shorter stuff, and there was kind of some of those kind of fade routes they ran downfield that we had some success with, but you didn't see them. You didn't see Raiola. And again, you've got a couple of these wide receivers that they brought in through the portal. You didn't see him trying to stretch that defense vertically. And that's something I thought we would see tonight. We didn't see really hardly any of it.
It may not have been too vertical. It's pretty short pass, but the touchdown catch by Hunter was impressive. That first touchdown.
Yeah. And that was a great drive, I thought. So, like I said, they did what they had to do to win. It's just, and kind of one of those things you mentioned, not opening up the playbook. kind of felt like they had some stuff that worked fairly consistently.
Did they get away from the run too much? I know late. I mean, they got away from the run, and
I thought
you're
they
like,
did. I mean, dude, Johnson had over 100 yards on the game, and that's one of those things I'm looking at. They're going, man, I would have leaned on that a little more. I probably would have leaned on the inside run a little bit more, especially when they were not in the red zone. I mean, once they got down there,
now when they did get away from the run,
tight,
I think Dillon went like 9 for 9 during that stretch. So it wasn't like they weren't being efficient. It's just
they were
could have run a lot more clock and.
But yeah, I almost feel like they kind of got away from their bread and butter stuff.
What's that, Cortland?
Yeah, I personally just I feel like we, and for Dillon too, just for his confidence, I just feel like, let's just take a shot down the field here and there, and especially when you're, inside that 30-yard line, and in opponent territory, it's kind of just like, take a shot at the end zone. You might get a 15-yard penalty, and you get a spot foul, and now you got a short field. Make the safeties make a play. Don't keep everything under 10 yards, and you kind of make it easier on me or to me on the defense when you are running those shorter routes. And we saw a couple of 10, 12-yard catches, and I think Dillon's a great quarterback. I mean, everybody's thinking he's going to the league, and I do too. And I just think we need to showcase him more. And I think for his confidence, he'll kind of get that dog in him. And I think that's what he's lacking right now is that dog, that killer instinct. And I think if you give him a chance to kind of take over games in that way, I
just don't think they gave him
it'll just be better for everyone.
I just don't think they gave him the opportunity by calling plays downfield. I would have liked to have seen him stretch that a lot more than they did.
All right. Hey, Cortland, thanks for the phone call. Appreciate it, sir.
Sure. Have a good one.
515. Or not 515. That's my other show. 402-543-5556. And I'll be saying that in like 4 hours. Let's go down to Lincoln. That's where Shane is. Shane, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast. What's going on, Shane?
Hey, guys. Thanks for staying up with us tonight.
Not a problem.
Hey, I just want to reiterate that last point. I don't think we went downfield near enough. It seems like we had the run established pretty well. And for my money, you establish the run in order to do some play action and take some shots down the field. And the other thing, I know you talked about that, and I think you agreed with that, Rob. But the other question I had was, I don't think we're using Harburg enough. I mean, he seems like such a talent. And, we have several different positions we can put him in there as. And, I think our success or our cleverness and play calling here is kind of connected to that. What do you guys think?
I would like to see him get the ball more. Did they throw the ball to him at all? I don't think they did.
To Harburg? No. I was kind of going in and out, but he didn't have a reception.
Yeah, there was a couple of plays where he was out there kind of as sort of that slot tight end position where he was split out. And there was times I thought he was open and in a position to make a play, and they just didn't throw it to him. I would like to see him because I think he's a guy who could, you look at what Lindenmeyer did from that tight end position. Guy looked great tonight. I think, excuse me, I think Harburg's a better overall athlete. I think he's got far better speed. And so I'd be curious to see what can happen when you get the ball in his hands and get him rumbling downfield.
Excellent stuff. Shane, thanks for the phone call. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. 402-543-5556. Let's go to Todd. Todd, welcome to the Doc Talk podcast. What's going on?
Yeah. So they were talking about, the previous callers were talking about how they wanted Dillon to go downfield. But I actually like the conservative play calling in the first game. I think it was beneficial to Raiola for the first game. It's just, I don't know, in the next couple of games they can kind of open it up a little bit more. But I mean, you don't want to kill his confidence in the first game if things go awry. And I didn't mind the play calling. I think the defense really let him down in the end. But overall, for his development, he's a sophomore, so I think during the season they can open it up a little bit more. But I thought it was pretty solid when it came to the offense.
And I think that's a fair point. And I guess when I'm talking
Thank
about
you.
kind of taking those shots downfield, I would have. And I'm not saying like consistently going to it, but I mean, that's one of those things where once a half, hey, we're just going to air it out long, make it a long enough pass that, I mean, make sure the defense isn't in a position to do it from a positioning standpoint with the ball. But you can go downfield with it, just kind of put a little stress on the defense and just kind of let them know, like, hey, every so often we're going to give this a try. Just keep your heads up for that.
Let me know if I'm like taking LSD or acid or something, because even when Nebraska gets into somewhat of a rhythm, does it look slow motion to you?
Yeah,
because it does to me, and that's what's confusing to me. I mean, so they're efficient a lot of times. But I'm like, I think Dana Holgorsen wants to be up tempo, and then I'm like, this just isn't up tempo. It just seems slow motion to me.
Well, now some of it, what I see is just getting the calls, getting those calls in.
That's fair.
There was a number of times where I'm seeing they're literally sitting there waiting for that call to come in. And for the most part, I liked what I saw. I mean, we talked about going vertical. We talked about maybe getting away from the run at times when we thought it was working. But there was times where I thought we weren't getting the calls in all that quick. There was times I thought we weren't getting them in all that quick on defense either. I don't know if I've got a good explanation for that. Is that are we dealing with some of these transfer guys who are just still getting used to some of the timing of stuff? And maybe it's a first game thing where, again, you're just trying to get the timing down. And you're in that atmosphere for the first time. It's against a halfway decent opponent or somebody. I'm hoping we find out as the season goes along. I'm hoping they were a halfway decent opponent. And so, we're going to find out, though. I mean, but I understand what you're saying when you talk about there's a little bit of slop, a little bit of mush there in terms of getting the plays in.
And I still don't think Dylan looks comfortable running the football. I mean, he can take off if he wants to, but he
doesn't want to.
He does not want to. Does not want to. So that means Akron's coming up next. That's going to be that should be a cupcake. But Nebraska at home now, up through what? Gosh, up through
all month, basically.
Up to they play all the way. They play at home on October 4th. So there's a game at Memorial Stadium all the way through October 4th, and that would be the Michigan State game. So we do want to thank Connor Orr from the Orr Law Group. He had us out to his tailgate before the game started. We had a really good time. Of course, if you need legal advice, his firm is growing. He's getting ready to add his 6th lawyer. From elderly care to you name it, they can take care of you. Also, you saw a lot of people down in Kansas City today who were dressed in red. I just think 100% of those people got their clothing at Husker Hounds. That's where they got it, at the 84th Street. Now, we are going to cut it short tonight because, well, Dr. Rob's got to go to work in the morning. I've got a radio show that I get ready for at 4 a.m. So
you do get up earlier than I do.
I do get up pretty early, but this was worth it. I'm glad we did it. We went for about 40 minutes. You were asking me how long we were going to go. I want to thank everybody who called. And don't forget, Dr. Rob and I will be back this weekend. Look for a late drop on Sunday of the next edition of the Doc Talk podcast. We won't be in the same room for this one. I'm going to be in, where am I going to be Sunday? I'm going to be in Water Valley, Mississippi, Rob. I'm going to see
enjoy that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to see my
granddaughter.
I'm going to have my big grandbaby. Then I'm going to take my baby to college in Savannah, Georgia. So, but Nebraska, 20.
You guys are piling into the family truckster. And
that's right. Cincinnati, 17. Huskers 1-0. We'll be back this weekend with the audio edition and another YouTube video of the Doc Talk podcast. Real quick, though, subscribe to this channel. And, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. We'll talk to everybody later on.